Finally, Intel released their new 13th gen lineup. Now we have comparisons of these new GPUs going against the newest AMD 7000 series, and to be honest, both are great, but that's for a future video. Today I will show you the best budget DDR5 Intel 13th gen PC build for gaming in 2022. And of course, budget doesn't mean that it's cheap, since these new CPUs aren't cheap at all. It's really important for you to watch this entire video because I will explain on how to make this PC even cheaper without losing much performance, and how to make it more expensive for better performance, while also answering a variety of questions for these new CPUs. Before starting, I want to say that you have all the links for these components and also Prebuilt PCs for these prices down below in the video description. Now let's start. First, I will discuss the components and explain a little bit about these. If you don't understand anything about computers, don't worry, I will explain what this PC is capable of running, at which resolution, and more. For the CPU, I picked the cheapest one on the lineup, the i5 13600KF. This is a great processor for everything, basically multitasking, streaming, gaming, content creation. Even though if you're a content creator, I would get the K non-F version. This is a must for you if you're working with video editing softwares, but if you're not and you're just going to do gaming, then the 13600KF is a bit cheaper and is going to deliver the same performance. And if we compare it with the AMD Ryzen 7000 series, Intel is a much cheaper option right now, but like I said before, this is for another video. Then for the CPU cooler, I picked the NRMax 240 all-in-one liquid cooler. This will be enough for the i5 13600KF, and for the price of $70, it's actually a really good deal. For the motherboard, I picked the MSI Pro 3690 ATX motherboard. This is $180, and of course it's a DDR5 motherboard, and for that reason I paired it with the cheapest DDR5 motherboard available on the market, the PageRock Signature Line 16GB of RAM 2x8 DDR5 at 4800 MHz. And as we all know, DDR5 memory is cheaper than before, and by getting this motherboard and memory, it's honestly future-proof, because maybe down the line DDR5 prices get even cheaper and cheaper, so you can upgrade it without any issues. For the storage, I picked the Western Digital Blue 1TB of M.2 NVMe SSD. This is a Gen 3 SSD and it's going to be super fast for gaming. You definitely do not need anything more than these speeds. Of course, if you want more storage for more games, then you can go with 2TB, but more speed won't make a difference when it comes to gaming. Then for the graphics card, or the GPU, however you want to call it, is the most important part for a PC build, and we got the RX 6700 XT at around $390. Now, if you want to go for Nvidia, you can go with the RTX 3060 Ti, but that one is going to be more expensive and a bit worse in terms of performance, just around a 2% difference. It's not going to make a huge change between the 6700 XT and the 3060 Ti when it comes to gaming performance. However, if you get the Nvidia version, you get a better encoder for content creators, you also get ray tracing, and you get DLSS. So if you care about those things, then yes, of course you can go with the 3060 Ti, but for gaming itself, the 6700 XT is going to be a great GPU for 1440p, and it's cheaper than the Nvidia competitor. I honestly love this GPU for 1440p gaming, which is what you're aiming for with this PC. If you're going with 1080p gaming, I wouldn't even get the 6700 XT or the 3060 Ti. I would go with a 6650 XT or a 3060. And if you want to step up your 1440p experience, you want to have even more FPS, I will go with a 6800 or the RTX 3070/RTX 3070 Ti. This PC with this GPU-CPU combination will be able to run every single game at 1440p 60+ FPS average, depending on the settings, and for esports titles you will be able to achieve more than 144 FPS on average on all of the esports titles at this resolution. Then for the case, I picked the Fantex Eclipse G360A ATX tower case. This one already comes with 3 fans installed, has a beautiful front mesh panel. I absolutely love this case, and I also added an extra case fans for the exhaust one. Then for the power supply, I picked the Superflower LEDX 3 Gold 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply. This is an A tier rated power supply, so you won't be risking any components. And for this specific build, you can get away with 650 watts, but to have that safety room, I went with 750, so you can also have some way of upgradability path. Now I will tell you the reasons on why you should buy this PC, and the first reason is that it's a great gaming desktop for 1440p. If you're searching for a PC that's going to deliver excellent performance at 1440p on a budget, which once again is not cheap, but considering that we have DDR5 memory and the newest Intel 13th Gen, is going to be one of the cheapest options for those components. The second reason on why you should buy this PC is the upgradability path because of the DDR5 memory. Right now is not the most relevant component and it's not going to give you that huge amount of extra performance, but down the line with new games coming and new optimizations, DDR5 might become the standard, just like DDR4 a couple of years ago, so you have that upgradability path with DDR5. And the last reason being is if you want the new CPUs, either from AMD or Intel CPU RAM motherboard combos are cheaper, but AMD is more future-proof with their AM5 chipset, and it's going to be one of the reasons on why you shouldn't buy this PC. That is going to be the first reason. If you have more money and you want to go for something that's more future-proof, then go ahead with the Ryzen 7000 series. Then another reason on why you shouldn't buy this PC is if you don't care about the new stuff and you don't care about DDR5, you just want a budget 1440p PC build, then you can save a couple of $100 and get a great 1440p experience as well with something like the Ryzen 5 5600 for the CPU or the i5 12400F with DDR4 memory, and that is going to be a great option for 1440p on a real budget. So those are going to be the main reasons why you shouldn't buy this PC, and it comes down to your needs and what you want to achieve with this gaming desktop. Now I will explain on how to make this PC cheaper without losing much performance, and then I will explain on how to make it more expensive if you want better performance but also not spending more than $150. So if you want to save around $60, I will go with the MSI Pro B660 DDR4 motherboard with 16 gigs of RAM of DDR4 at 3600 MHz memory kit. To be honest, between DDR4 and DDR5, right now there's not a huge difference, and if you're working with less money than $1300, I will highly consider this downgrade, and trust me, you will still get a great gaming experience. It's just not going to be as future-proof as DDR5, and on top of that you get a B660 motherboard, so you won't be able to overclock properly the CPU, meaning that you won't get its full potential. But if you don't care about overclocking, you will play with the stock performance, then don't worry about this. And if you want to make this PC even cheaper, then I would recommend downgrading the case to the Phoenix Nova from Mesh Panel ATX case alongside a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply. We are talking about the Enermax Revolution DF, an A tier rated power supply. This is a great option still, it's just not going to be as upgradable as a 750 watts one. And if you also make that downgrade, the total price will be around $1150, so you end up saving around $150 from that first DDR5 gaming desktop, which is a huge discount. And if you're just going to do gaming and you can't spend more than this amount of money, then I would recommend you go with this one, no problems at all. Keep in mind that the price changes basically every single day on the market. That's why I update these videos every single week. So if you're watching this video and the price of these components are different, then I'm sorry, but it's not my fault. And then if you want to make this PC more expensive for $1400, I would recommend you upgrading the RAM to a 32 gig kit of DDR5 5600 MHz CL36 memory, so you get more RAM and faster. And this is a great upgrade, especially if you're a content creator, but also if you want to do streaming. And for gaming overall, it's going to give you a boost on performance. Also upgrade the CPU to the i5 13600K, like I said at the beginning, the non-F version. That is going to help you out with video editing a lot. So those are the main upgrades I will make. If you want to upgrade the GPU, you can go ahead and do it, but that is going to be more expensive, and that's why I didn't mention a GPU upgrade. And like I said before, because prices are changing every day, I keep updating these videos weekly, but I also upload discounts on my posts when I find huge discounts on the market. So if you want to get notified for those component sales and also Prebuilt PC sales, hit the bell button. That is going to be really important if you want to keep up with the market. And the last thing I want to say is that if you want a Prebuilt PC for this price, you will have it in the description with this PC build as well, but you will also have my best Prebuilt PCs of the month video in the top right of the screen, which is really interesting if you don't want to build a PC by yourself, which, like I always say, is cheaper and better. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next one.